Doctor, can you talk about vitamin D and how that relates to possibly cancer prevention?
Vitamin D, if you decide what's a low vitamin D level in your body, uh, if you're low in vitamin D according to conventional levels, which I think are far too conservative,
Mm.
but if you're low in vitamin D, the statistic that seems to come around are 55% increase in cancer and 50 some percent increase in death from all causes if you're low in vitamin
Mm.
D. So now, many years ago, vitamin D came under fire by the FDA and other government agencies. And they said the vitamin D over 400 units a day will calcify your brain, calcify your kidney, calcify everything inside. You just be turned into a calcified mummy. And and I didn't feel right about it. I just knew there was something wrong. I'd read enough about vitamin D, and they first of all they lumped vitamin D into one vitamin D. There's vitamin. They forgot to mention that there's vitamin D2, which is pretty toxic and not very effective, and there's vitamin D3, which has very low to zero toxicity, and is very effective.
Mm-hmm.
So there's vitamin D2 and vitamin D3. Uh, if you take, if you measure vitamin D, the FDA said that anything over 400 units was too much, and so people went crazy. They were making vitamin D products with no vitamin D in it, and in fact, I think I lost a good friend to cancer because she produced a vitamin line, and none of her vitamins had any vitamin D at all. She produced it at this time when it was coming under fire from the authorities, and she took this vitamin for 25 years, and she was otherwise in perfect health. She exercised. She didn't drink any coffee. She didn't drink alcohol. She didn't eat sugar. She was in incredibly good shape. But she didn't have any vitamin D in her life, because vitamin D is not readily in many food supplies.
Right.
It's hard to get vitamin D from food supply. They do vitamin D in forced milk, but a lot of that is the vitamin D2, which is not very good. And so my friend, about 5 years ago, she came down with pancreatic cancer. She was in her late 60s. It wasn't unusual statistically, but given her lifestyle and the way she took care of herself, she should not have come down with cancer. And I tend to blame the vitamin D levels. Now, in those days, vitamin D level was considered low if it was below 20. Now it's been raised to 30. Most of the experts and smart people that I see evaluating vitamin D say it should be at least 60, probably 80, and maybe 100. You know the Baywatch babes, the bikini babes?
I'm familiar.
Yes, you watched that, huh? Well, I watched it a little. The Baywatch babes had vitamin D levels of 150. So you can get that much from natural sunlight. But vitamin D has been shown to be important in preventing colds, simple things, and preventing cancer, complex, dangerous things. And for years we didn't get enough vitamin D. And I measure now in virtually every patient. And I learned that from Michael Hollick, who wrote a book called The UV Advantage. And his book about 6 or 7 years ago blew the whistle on the vitamin D mistake. He blew the whistle, showing that we were being much too conservative in saying how much vitamin D we should have.
Okay.
We should probably have at least 5,000 units a day
Okay.
of the good vitamin D, D3.
D3. And you can find that out with a simple blood test, right, where your levels are?
Yeah, there's a simple blood test.